English 300 by Amanda Weisant. The dreaded family reunion. Have you ever been to a family reunion? Did you feel
Did you
awkward
feel
because you realize that
awkward
most of
because you
these family
realized that
members
most
were
of these family
strangers?
members were
Or even
strangers?
worse,
Or even worse?
they are weird. My cousins growing up were always very jealous of me. I was able to honestly state I'm not related to one person at this family reunion. I am adopted. I joke about this quite a lot, but the truth is, I have struggled with being adopted on and off all my life. I went through this struggle again recently and decided to take the plunge. I took an ancestry DNA test. During this semester, I found out who my biological father was. Although he was deceased, I was able to speak to my paternal grandmother for the very first time in the school parking lot here, on the phone in my car. I came to a place where I needed to search out my biological father. Knowing that I wasn't related to one person at that awkward family reunion left me with a different issue: a lack of identity. This is identity crisis, which is a common psychological issue with adoptees. Perhaps the most prominent psychological identity development scholar of the last 4 decades, and definitely one of the most quoted, is Erik Erikson. He coined the term identity crisis. Dunbar and Grodovan, who are psychiatrists who specialize in adoption and attachment disorders, stated this: those who have come to terms with their adoption story are more likely to have the ability of reflective thinking and therefore a better understanding of their identity. When I see this word, it reminds me of words like cool, sweet, awesome, gnarly. I wouldn't normally associate rad with a mental disorder. According to the Child Mind Institute of New York, RAD is short for Reactive Attachment Disorder, which is also known as attachment disorder. RAD is seen in different situations, but mostly found in children in foster care and adoptees. Foster care parents and adopted parents with RAD children face challenges that the majority of us just don't understand. RAD is an emotional dysfunction disorder caused by early neglect. This is why neglect is considered a form of child abuse, according to Sarah Hinshaw Fielder, who is an assistant professor of psychiatry in Louisiana. And it is commonly found in those raised in foster care or those who were adopted after the age of 3. Here's what it looks like. The child with red falls against her knee. Normally, the parent sees this and rushes to comfort the child. A child with red will not let you comfort them, though. The child will become agitated when adults try to comfort. The child may actually become out of control due to the fear of touch. The child out of necessity has developed skills to self-soothe or console themselves by rocking back and forth and hugging themselves. Dr. Hitcher and Dr. Hughes talk about this in their video. Dr. Hitcher is a pediatric doctor who specializes in RAD, and Dr. Hughes is a psychologist in their small town of Shasta, California. A RAD child is a child that's been broken out of neglect. From the inexperienced viewpoint, a RAD parent may look lazy because he or she does not react to the outburst of a child. A RAD parent may look lazy because he or she does not make the child complete the homework assignment. A RAD parent may look cold and uncaring because he or she doesn't rush to comfort the hurt child, but instead offers the child space. Going back to the subject of identity, there's a great debate in adoption right now. Many adoptees are pushing for closed adoptions to be opened. Closed adoption is what the information of who the biological family is not given to the adoptee or the family. versus an open adoption when all available information is disclosed. And in some cases, the biological family is allowed in the adoptee's life, like an extended family member. One of the arguments for open adoption is the availability of family medical history. Many diseases a person may have can be linked genetically or with family history. This allows the adoptee to know if there's a history of physical ailments, such as breast cancer, or mental ailments, such as depression or addictive personality. Many also argue that it would give the sense of identity back to the adoptee. It would help solve or undo some of the damage of adoption does to an adoptee. I personally believe it is the adoptee's right to know whose genetics that person carries. I recently interviewed Rick Brady. He is a pastor of Woodward Park Baptist Church in Fresno, California. Growing up, Rick was touched by adoption. His sister, who is 13 years younger than him, was adopted. Rick and his wife, Sabina, became foster care parents when their youngest child was about 2. His reasons for doing so? We were doing foster care because we recognized the need for a safe and loving place for our kids to live. We were not looking to adopt. We had Jack for 18 months before the birth parents' rights were terminated. After 18 months, he was a part of our family, and we were happy and excited to be able to adopt him. He was a gift from God that we were not expecting, but were really happy to receive. I also asked Rick what warning would he give to those thinking about adoption. Gain information, he said. Don't go into it blind. Know what the hard parts are for the parents and for the children. Seek information about the child, their history. Know what the possible issues will be. Then pray and love a lot. Rick also said it's a huge blessing to be able to provide a loving home to a child, and the blessing goes both ways. I believe Jack is blessed to be part of our lives, but I know we are blessed to have him as our son. I personally am so thankful that I was adopted. My parents look at me as a gift, but I look at them as a gift to me. There's a lot of brokenness that happens with foster care, but there's a beauty born out of adoption too.